This is Tracey from GiftBasketAppeal, and today we're going to be doing a Mod Podge creation. I'm going to be decorating this super cute bottle. Look at the shape of that, how pretty that looks. And I'm going to be using this napkin from the Dollar Tree. I've used this in another project before, and I absolutely love it. So I like the way the birdhouse is shaped. It's shaped similar to the bottle. So let's get started. I'll be sure to list everything that you need for this project below in the description box. And I am going to keep the top to this because it's really pretty. I think I can decorate this, whether I paint it or maybe just add a few gems to it. I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do with this, but I think it can really look nice. So let's take that off. I'm also going to be using this paint right here. This is a lime sherbet acrylic paint, and I'm going to be using it with this white to kind of mix it and possibly match it to this napkin right here. So we'll see. I may have to use a little bit more of the white to kind of, so it's not as bright and a little bit more subdued as far as that lime color. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm just kind of mixing this up a bit, just experimenting and having some fun with this. See if we can get a nice, very light green on that. And don't be afraid to use color. So this is what we're going to use to paint the base of our bottle, and then put our napkin over that to kind of brighten it up. And to me, it's still a little bit too bright. I want it a little bit more subdued. Let's see. I think the bottles make such a nice decoration, a nice gift, and I just love the transformation, the whole process. So as you can see, I'm still mixing it up here. And I think this is like $1.50 at Walmart. And it's the Apple Barrel brand. These little ones are like 50 cents. And they last pretty good amount of time. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. You see what that looks like? Trying to get somewhat close to this. It's not going to be exact, but I think it's still going to look nice. Add more, because I want it to be really close to the lighter side as far as just a smidgen of green. I think it'll look really nice. Yeah, now it's coming together. I think it looks like what I want, so I like that. So we're going to go ahead and start. And I like the fact this has a nice flat surface on it, so the coverage should be pretty good. So I'm just using a regular sponge brush. You could use whatever you have. And I'm just doing nice, smooth, even strokes on this. And use whatever brush works for you. I like this sponge brush. I use it a lot. So let's see, this is what it looks like. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's really green. You can see the green. It looks really bright, almost like a closer to white, but I think it'll work fine. But sometimes you never know until you try. So I can already tell I'm going to do this, put another coat over this. Because some of the paints have really good coverage, and some of them still need, where they only need one coat, and some of them need more than one coat. So I'm going to go right up to there with this. Not sure what I'm going to do with that part. We'll see. All I know is that I want to get that napkin on the bottle and then work from there. So sometimes you don't have to have it all figured out. And if you want to spray paint your bottle, you can do that too. And if you hear some banging downstairs, that's the hubby. Bill is downstairs cooking. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of this, and I'll let it dry so you can see. I'm going to put 2 coats on it, and then I'll let it dry. And then we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so now our bottle is all dry, and I love the way this came out. It just has that little bit of a minty green color, and I think it's going to work perfectly with the napkin, especially with this color up in here. I think it's going to look really pretty. I wanted to show you something else I did. I just took the napkin and I separated like I normally do, and I just put it on this white cardstock, and I'm going to cut this out and I'll show you how I'm going to use it on this bottle. So I'm just going to wait on that for a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our napkin and we're going to go ahead and separate it. And if you have a hard time separating it on the edges, you can use some double-sided tape to help pull it apart. Some napkins are much easier than others to pull apart. Or you can just wet your fingers, you know, no big deal, right? So that's how you can get that apart. What I'm going to do is, because I want to rip it, I don't want any like definite lines on these. I just like to rip it. Now a lot of people said you can use like a paintbrush and just kind of wet it and separate it, and that's fine too. If that works for you, you could do that. Just another option. So I want to make sure that this fits in this space right here, and that's why I'm ripping it, so it doesn't like look perfect. I just like that look. But if you want that definite line, then by all means go for it. Like for these, I'm going to cut these right out, you know, right against the line on here. But I'll leave that to the end so you can see what I do with those. And napkins are so fun and versatile, and they're a great craft item that doesn't cost a lot. Especially these napkins that I got from Dollar Tree. Yeah, we could just rip some of this off over here. No big deal. Just keep ripping. And you've seen me do this process before. You know, so I'm just holding it and ripping it before I separate it. Or something like that. Maybe come in, take a little bit off over here. Just like that. So I've got like that kind of look going on. So let's see, maybe come a little bit closer in. And you hear my little goobers under the table there. Yeah, just like that. So this is how I want it to look on my bottle. All right, so let's go ahead and separate this. Just kind of artsy look to it. Just seeing where I can separate this. Now that it's been ripped, it should be good to go. Oh, there it is. Yep. So for those of you that are tuning in, this is a great, fun craft. And so this is what I'm going to do just to show you. Look how pretty that's going to look. It's going to blend in really nice. So let's go ahead and put our Mod Podge on here. And I'm just going to use a smaller brush because I don't need a larger sponge because I'm not working really with a larger space here. I think it'll be good to just use this. I'm just going to come straight from my bottle here, and this is a glossy finish. There is a matte finish. There's a waterproof one that I haven't used yet. So I'm not using a whole lot of this on here. You don't need a whole lot, but you want to make sure it's covered all the way. And then you want to make sure you have your plastic wrap or saran wrap. Someone said they used a plastic bag and it still worked. I've never used it before, so you know, if it worked for someone else, I'm sure it might work for you too. But I like to use my plastic wrap, and this is like, you get this from like, I think I got this from Kroger. Yeah, I just get the Kroger brand from our store. So I'm just going to see if that's going to come down a little bit more on here. So I like doing even strokes on these. And then I'm going to place it on there. See how that is? Just even strokes, because I want the whole ball to have a little bit of a shine to it. Okay. Now I'm going to take this, and here's where the transformation starts. Just put a little bit right by Birdhouse. See, now I can pull this up very quickly though. I have to do that, and then just place it. Just like that. And now I'm going to take so notice I'm going from the inside and pressing outward. Going from the inside, pressing outward. See how that is? It presses the bubbles from the inside and just smooths them out to the edge there. Just smooths them out. And you don't have to apply a lot of pressure. The napkin is very lightweight, so it'll do what it does. Just make sure that you separate that napkin if it's a 2-ply. Separate that back part from the front so you have just the artwork and the image really pops on that. I love this napkin. I never get tired of using this one. So imagine the amount of gifts you can make from these for someone. And imagine this bottle would normally be trashed, right? The napkins would be used and then thrown away. But we're just saving the earth here, using what would normally be thrown away to make something beautiful. So look at that. See that? See, now if you want the edges, you want that definite edge, you can do whatever to get that definite edge. You just cut it out beforehand. But I just want that to kind of lay on there and not be so perfect. Okay, so that's what I got so far, right? So I'm going to do the other side now. The same way so that I have both sides. I just figured rather than just do one side, I could do both. But before I do that, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this one. This one, for the side, I just want some of the design. It doesn't have to be like a perfect, the perfect house. So I'm going to put this one aside for a moment because I'll use that one. Let me break open a new napkin here. And so I wanted to match the side with the front, and I didn't want to leave this plain. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to cut straight up like this. And I'm going to cut this part right here. And I'm going to cut like a rectangle here. All right, so I still have the design in there, right? Guess I could cut this little piece off here. So you just kind of do what you want, right? It's your own creation. You do what you want to do on these and have fun. Okay, I guess I should have gotten out my double-sided tape, huh? But it's okay. Here we go. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of a decoration like right here on the side, right there maybe, just so it's not so bare. Just giving you another idea. Let me show you from a better angle there. Just a little bit right there on the side, so you have something else to add to it. Something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Okay, so let's get our brush again. Might as well go ahead and show you that. So at least I'll have two sides to show you. Because I like to show the whole process. I don't really want to skip to the end and then it's like, Tracy, what did you do in between that? Okay, so we're just going to go along here. Just nice, even strokes. This is so relaxing, just seeing this go on like that. Okay, and then we're just going to take this, just a little piece, when you position it where you want it. I'm just going to line it up here. So I still have that little bit where I can just pull it off and put it back on till I get it where I want it. And I'm just gently laying it down because it's going to grab onto the bottle. Okay, look how quick that was. Just like that. Look how quick that was, right? So now you got a nice little straight cut line, so that's what it looks like if you were to cut it. So far so good, right? Cute. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the others. Okay, so here's what we've got so far, and look how adorable that looks. Look how adorable. Oh my goodness, I'm really, really happy with the way this turned out. So let's go ahead now and take these napkins right here. And what I wanted to do is give this a 3D effect. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out right on the line. So all I did is I used Mod Podge, applied the separated napkin, applied it, and that was basically it. So on this one doesn't have a shine because I didn't put Mod Podge over it. I wanted to see what it would look like without that Mod Podge on top of it. This one I did put Mod Podge on it and it's a little bit shinier. So you can see that shine there. I kind of wanted to see what that would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both of these out and I'm going to give my bottle a 3D effect. Okay, so I went ahead and cut these out and look how adorable these are. I can see lots of stuff being done with these. So if you ever have those napkins you want to just kind of isolate an image, you can just cut that particular image out that you want. So I want to try two different things with this. On the one, I'm going to just take this and I'm going to put some Mod Podge over the image here. And I'm going to just use this as my glue really because Mod Podge is sticky. So I'm just going to put this over just right up on here. And this already looks good just like this, flat, but if you want to add some dimension to your bottle, you can just get some cardstock like I did right here, right? So this is already thick. So let me just make sure this is all covered. So this already has a thickness to it. And then you just place it over the original image, and that just kind of gives it a little bit of a 3D effect, right? You can also put mounting tape on it. I've done that before on another project. Put some mounting tape on this to give it even more of a 3D effect. So I'm just kind of pressing that on just for a little bit, just to let it dry a little bit. Okay, so now look at that. So now you kind of layered it. So this just has to dry just a smidgen. If anyone ever uses that word still. But look how cute that is. I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but I am really loving the way that looks with the 3D effect. So you're adding dimension to your bottle. Now if you wanted to, let me just let that dry and I'll show you on the other side what's gonna happen. I'm gonna experiment now. Sometimes I'll try it out just so you can see how it turns out. So what I could do here, I can cut this portion right here out. All right. Just this little portion here, and I can take this and put it on top, just like that, so that the top part of the birdhouse has dimension to it. Let me get a better line here. So you see what I'm doing here? Just kind of taking different parts of this and bringing it out. Or I can take this part right here and just add it on there once I put my Mod Podge over it. Right, so that's just another thing I could do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and just put that part right over it. Or here's another part that I can do. I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm going to take this little piece right here, the circle, because I really want y'all to get some ideas here. So I'll go ahead and do this. I wasn't going to do this originally, but hey, I might as well. Anything for art, right? Anything for art and creativity. Okay, so just taking the circle in there, right? So you see I'm just taking bits and pieces. So I want to enhance this part right here, right? And just use this right here to add dimension. It's just one other thing you can do, right? The nice thing is that the Mod Podge will dry clear. Now that top area, I might as well go ahead and just kind of brush this on. Just brush it over the whole thing. I guess I could have added that later, but that's okay. Still will work. So I'm just kind of lightly brushing, mainly from the middle going out. Helps with less wrinkles, but I don't mind wrinkles. Just trying to make sure you can see this. I can get caught up in my own art that I forget that I have the camera on, right? And it seems like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so now I can take the rooftop, right, and just place it right on top here. So it's going to take a little bit to dry. So you want to kind of keep your hands off of these wet parts because it'll rip the napkin. So ask me how I know, right? And then you have like a little bit of dimension on the roof and right here. So there's so much you can do with this. But I can still keep this and use it for something else. If I do my card making and I want to make, I can make some tags, you know. Kind of use this, lay it on top of another creation. So we'll see. This might end up in another craft, right? Okay, so let's see. This right here now. And now I'm going to take this and start to kind of smooth everything over. Smooth everything over here. And while it's wet like this, you can add gems and beads on there. Kind of like that this doesn't have any Mod Podge on it. So let's see. I want to make sure this stays flat. So I'm going to let this dry for a moment, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's still drying. It's starting to look really good. I've just been putting some more Mod Podge over these areas here just to kind of give it shine. Now, what I like to do once everything is like dry, I like to take some of this Aleene's acrylic sealer and just give it a nice spray over, just the whole thing, just lightly spray it. Now, I'm not going to use this and spray it right now because I suggest you be in a well-ventilated room. This stuff is strong. Or just be outside somewhere. I think outside might be the best. Okay, so just putting some of this and making sure everything looks nice and consistent on here. So everything is going to, it might look cloudy now, but everything is going to dry clear. Just going over the edges there. And so if you don't want that shine, just use the matte finish Mod Podge. Okay, so far so good. So now while I have this like this, I'm going to take some of my gems now. Take some of these gems and just kind of add them in. Just give a little bit of sparkle to our bottle. So I'm going to put one in here. There's little circles around here. So I'm just going to put, just kind of randomly put a few of these on here. Since the Mod Podge is already wet, right? And these will stick on really good. Yep. And this is my We Are Memory Keepers Quick Stick Tool. Look how cute that looks already. It's starting to come together. Look at that. I might put a couple of gems around here, just kind of randomly do this. I don't want everything lined up perfectly. You know, just I think some smaller gems. And I have a ton of these gems, so this is perfect. And they stick right on. Let's see if I want to put maybe one here. Yep. So you see I'm just randomly just dropping those on there. Not thinking about it, right? Just doing it. Okay, and I want to show you something else that I'm going to do with that top. Because before this video, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. With the top, that is. Yep, so I'm just dropping these. They're kind of dropping themselves on the bottom, aren't they? Yep. I'm looking for some small ones. Okay, and I think I'm going to add more in there. I think I can go crazy with these. Okay, so now you remember that piece that I had of the cutout with the birdhouse? I took the extra piece and cut a circle out. Look at that. And so now, just in this circle right here, I'm going to take this and add it on here so it matches. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the top. So I'm going to leave that gold around the side. I'm just adding Mod Podge on there. And I'm taking that part that's covered with the napkin and just add it right on the top here. Let's see. We'll let that hold for a moment. Okay, y'all, so here's what I did with the top, right? So this is what it looks like. And I did add a little bit of a gem to it. Oh my goodness, I am really loving the way that looks. So unexpected, right? And so let's go ahead and put this on here. Everything's still drying, and I'll be sure to post the pictures so you can see them. But look how gorgeous that looks. And I could add more gems to it. I might add a few more up in here. I'm not sure. I think sometimes less is more. But look at the transformation of that bottle. I like how fun it looks. So there's the side with the 3D. I put a gem right in the middle of that one. You can see that. And like I said, if you don't want to do the ripping on it, you don't have to. You can just cut it out and have the definite line around it. So this is just the way I like to do it. So you just have to find out the way that you like to do it. So look at that. Look how adorable. I'm so happy with the way this came out. And I'll see you real soon. Bye. Wait. There's one more thing. Just when I thought I was all done, I was looking through my stash and found some of this really pretty ribbon with flowers on it, and I thought, I'm going to add this to my bottle. So I cut away some little pieces, and using the Mod Podge, I just added pieces strategically to each area. I'm not sure if you can see this. You see that? Look at the top, just around the top and then around the bottom. And that just added that extra thing that my bottle needed. So now my bottle is complete. So I'll see you real soon. Bye.